Thyme is a truly multi-purpose herb. The thyme I'm talking about is Thymus vulgaris, the common or garden thyme. It's a low-growing, fairly tough plant that likes a sunny situation. It comes in the standard green-leafed and also in variegated forms, which some people consider to be more attractive, but the all-important thyme oil, which is the source of all thyme's goodness, is found in both. Thyme is closely related to lemon thyme, botanical name Thymus citriodora, but not to basil thyme, as the Latin name Acinus arvensis makes plain. Like most herbs, thyme doesn't like to be moved, although you'll probably get away with it if you're moving it to a new position it likes. After transplanting it, you'll need to water it regularly until it shows new growth, demonstrating that its roots have got over the shock of the move. Unless your area suffers from extremely cold winters, it should be perfectly happy to let you pick a few sprigs all year round, although if you want to get the highest potency, you should harvest as much as you can just before the flowers open. Thyme is one of those herbs that begs to be touched. Get down close to it and crush a few leaves to savour its rich, meaty fragrance. It's easy to see why it makes such a good herb for meat dishes, particularly beef. You can even use it instead of oregano or marjoram in Italian cooking. The fresh herb is so rich you may prefer to dry it by hanging it up in bunches, somewhere with a good airflow and not too humid for use in the kitchen, after which you should strip the leaves off the branches and store them in an airtight jar. If you're going to use the dried herbs for remedies, you need to either choose a coloured glass jar or store it in a cupboard out of direct sunlight. Fresh or dried thyme makes an unusual and tasty tea. You can add a little honey to sweeten it if you like. Herbal teas are generally not served with milk. If you're pregnant, it's best to wait until after the birth before trying it. Remember, if you want to use thyme medicinally, it's important that it's grown organically so that its properties are not masked and you don't end up ingesting toxic ingredients like pesticides along with your remedy. At this point, I need to warn you that thyme should not be used in large amounts, for example for tea or as a remedy by pregnant women. A little bit used in cooking will do no harm, but for medicinal purposes and tea, you use rather more than a pinch. Thyme essential oil shouldn't be used by pregnant women either. To make a standard infusion, put 3 to 4 teaspoonfuls of fresh or 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried thyme in a warmed pot. Add 250ml, that's an American cup, or 8 fluid ounces of boiling water, and leave to infuse for 5 to 10 minutes. Strain off the herb and it is ready for use. The infusion does not have to be drunk all in one go, but can be sipped slowly over the course of an hour or so, and can be used hot or cold. The maximum dose is 1 cup a day. Thymol, the pink mouthwash used by dentists, was originally made from thyme. To make a mouthwash for general use, use a half-strength infusion, that's 2 teaspoons as fresh or 1 teaspoon dried leaves to 250ml, 1 American cup or 8 fluid ounces of boiling water, and infuse for 10 minutes. Strain and use cold. Thyme is an excellent herbal medicine for digestive and respiratory disorders. It's an anti-fungal, useful for treating infections both viral and bacterial, is antiseptic, expectorant, and can be used as a general tonic. Taken internally in the form of an infusion, thyme is very helpful for respiratory complaints like asthma, laryngitis, bronchitis, and other coughs. It can also be used as a gargle for sore throats, including tonsillitis, and as a mouthwash for bad breath and gum disease. The same infusion is also helpful for indigestion, diarrhea, and gastritis, and it's good for chills as it has a warming effect. Externally, it can be used as a wash for fungal infections like athlete's foot and to make a warm throat compress for a sore throat. A compress is a clean cloth which is soaked in the infusion and then applied to the area to be treated. For a warm compress, the infusion should cool a little before use, obviously. Another similar treatment is called a poultice. People often confuse the two. You can make a poultice to treat muscular aches and pains like arthritis by processing fresh herbs in a blender to make a pulp, or if you're using dried herbs, soak in boiling water for a little while before processing. Wrap them in a thin cotton cloth and apply to the area. Ideally, this should be as hot as you can bear, so dip it into a bowl of hot water and squeeze out the excess before applying. You can keep refreshing it in the hot water and reapplying it when it cools down too much. A steam inhalation is helpful for coughs, catarrh and general congestion, and also to help relieve muscle fatigue for ME sufferers. You can either use a few drops of the essential oil or a good handful of fresh herb. Put the oil or herb in a bowl of boiling water and lean over it, covering both your head and the bowl with a towel to keep the steam in. Another way is to have a hot steamy bath with the oil or herbs added to the water, but in this case I suggest you put the herbs inside a muslin bag or something similar so you don't get covered in little bits of thyme. For those with children at school, a bottle of dilute thyme oil can be used to deter headlice or cooties. Just add a few drops to a bottle of sweet almond oil and comb a few drops of the blend through the hair night and morning. Thyme essential oil is best left for professional use, except for the two purposes I've mentioned here. An attack of ringworm can be treated with thyme cream, applied 3 or 4 times a day to the affected area. If you don't have access to fresh thyme, I've got dried thyme leaf, loose and in tea bags, in my shop at Fran's Alt.Health.